My website is jimdukeperspective.com, and that's where you can check our home plate, our home base. But you can listen to the podcast on any of your favorite apps, and you can listen to it on host or any place, iTunes, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio.
Wow.
So anyway, I wanted to look at the collapse of the Industrial Revolution. For anybody that's tracking us, we've been kind of highlighting things that are going on at the WEF with the infamous Klaus Schwab and his Great Reset. And then you got Biden with the Build Back Better. He's only a puppet for the Americanized version of it. But what I wanted to figure it out is because of the comments that were made by people like Maurice Strong, that each year when the World Economic Forum meets in Davos, Switzerland, and the thousands of CEOs, prime ministers, financial ministers, leading academics and media and technology and all them, they meet for the agenda. Maurice Strong, he's the writer of Agenda 21. That's surprise you. Agenda 2030 for the United Nations. And he said that the world's richest countries need to comply to economic agendas for environmentalism. So that's what his whole stance was, that the industrialized world has to comply. But he also said, what if a small group of these world leaders were to conclude that the principal risk to the earth comes from the actions of the rich countries? Will they do it? Somebody messaged me. So, will they agree to save the earth? It will be the group who decides. In his autobiography, Where on Earth Are We Going?, he answered, no, they won't. Therefore, he warned the only hope to save the planet would be to impose on them by collapsing the industrialized civilizations. And this is what his consideration has been, and what he's planning on doing, what he planned on doing with the world. But this is what the United Nations seems to be doing, and this is what the World Economic Forum seems to be wanting. But the thing is, Darren, is I don't think they're looking to collapse the Industrial Revolution completely. I'll explain it. Now, what is the Industrial Revolution? How would you explain it? Do you know, like, what would you explain it as?
Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. You have the revolution of industries, helping the economy and help build the infrastructure of certain countries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was innovation, machinery, technology to assist humanity in productions. It was in the 1800s, mostly, that brought the corporate backing, rebuilding, and influencing society. And I noticed that it influenced workers in from self-sufficiency to manufacturer labor. In other words, where mom and pop used to, run the fields and people used to work for people, smaller people, it seems that the industrialized revolution gave it more of a labor type of atmosphere, manufacturing labor, where they just hired the neighborhoods, the right. Culture, and it seemed to kind of take over where you didn't have to manufacture your own goods or anything. You just basically bought them on a large production scale. Chemicals, steel, agriculture were all part of this. Manufacturing, steam engines, technology, transportation, even. And I think it developed out of a lot of the innovation to want to rebuild for war and weaponry. And it first occurred in Britain and then in America. And it seemed to be big corporations behind it, like the Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan, Rothschilds.
All the bankers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the purpose was that develop technology to hire and produce for corporations. So I think it was almost a way to to monopolize industry through the big bankers and through their corporations, perhaps.
Sounds possible.
Yeah,
Yep.
instead of people working for themselves and making their own ways and doing their own trading and such, they manipulated us into complying with the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and the Rockefellers had the big oil, dynasty, and then from it they manufactured gasoline, they manufactured pharmaceuticals. So this could have been like a whole ploy right from the beginning.
Right.
So it kind of erupted in America and Britain for a whole industry. And now with the environmental concerns, they want to destroy it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Not at all. Nope.
Klaus Schwab is the forum's director. He directs the agendas for the future with the meeting of all these technocrats and the wealth and the sectors of society to build a influence for a better leadership in the coming world. So you wonder, what is this coming world? It seems to be having to do with equalization of globalism. All their advancements seem to be bringing it towards a globalism, but don't they need industry and globalism?
You would think so.
You would think so. But they talk about almost like demising it or collapsing the advancement for globalization. But it doesn't seem right. The worldwide communism is thought to be better than an individual capitalism. And this is where the theory is the good of the whole is more important than the good of the individuals or the rights of the individuals.